Hey, guys. Good morning, good afternoon. Why is it always at a different angle? When I go live, it just looks horrible, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter when you may catch this particular replay. I'm super excited. Outspeak Pelzer here, your voice manager. I help to unmute. No, I unmute the voice of women who are ready to speak up about what has kept her silent for way too long. You guys that are joining us today for this particular episode, you're joining us during our warrior series. We are going all in about what it means to be the warrior, how we can become a better warrior in the battle, this battle called life, battle called business, battle called parenting, whatever battle it is that you may be facing. So you guys got some introductory stuff. The first two, phenomenal. So if you did not catch those, make sure that you go back and catch those. But today is all about timing. And I think this is a very valuable message to share within this first week of us talking about the Warrior series, because timing is everything. How many of you can agree to that? How many of you can agree that timing is everything? That you can think back personally, and the timing had to be at a perfect time. It had to be in a certain um time frame. And I this is my birthday month, so I'm sitting and I'm reflecting on, the last decade, the last 10 years. What has that really meant for me? What has it meant for my children, my family, my business? And I said, wow, timing is everything. Because some of the messages that I attempted to share 3 and 4 years ago, some people understood them, but not everybody grabbed a hold of it. And I think it was because of timing. Um, so that part. Good morning. Hey, good morning, family. Good morning, Nikki. How are you this morning? It was because of timing. And interestingly enough, timing eliminates the need for comparison. Like when we have a better understanding of timing, then there's no need for us to compare what we're doing to what the next person is doing. And I'm this is going to be hold what you got. Yes, come through birthday month. Come through March birthdays. So we had to have this understanding that understanding timing eliminates our need for comparison. Because what happens is, and this is going to hurt. I know I'm starting it off with a little couple bricks. This is going to hurt, but oftentimes when we see someone else doing something or achieving something, even when it's a celebrity, it may not be somebody we know personally, we get baby fever. Can we just be honest this morning? Can we just have an honesty moment? We get baby fever, and we look at what they're doing, we look at what they've been able to achieve, and there's something on the inside of us that says, I want that. I want what they have. Not Well, some people it goes to the extreme, but I hope it doesn't go to the extreme. But we literally get baby fever because we see what they're doing and what they're carrying, and we want that. But the issue comes in is we want their baby. But even if you get impregnated with a promise, it's not going to be their baby. It's not going to look like their baby. It's not going to sound like their baby, and it's not going to act like their baby. Come on. It's not going to act like their baby because it's going to be your baby. And we get into an issue when it's like, okay, well, but I want what they have. I want what we got to get past that point. As a warrior, I got to understand that there's timing for everything. So, oh, this is listen. So you got to think about it as this. There's Things can happen too soon or too late. And if it happens too soon, then we're ill prepared for what it was that was coming. And so we're not fighting the battle at our greatest potential. If it happens too late, then we end up getting into a place where um that's the shoulda, woulda, couldas, right? That's that we should have did this. We could have did this. We kind of live in a life of regret when it happens too late. When we feel as though it happens too late, there's this life of regret. We thought that it should have happened in our 20s and it didn't happen until our 50s. Y'all, somebody better catch that. Somebody better catch that. We thought it was going to happen in our 20s and it didn't happen, or it happened in our 20s, but what happened in our 20s was not what we really needed. It wasn't what we really wanted. And so then when it happened in our 60s, we were better able to appreciate it. I know that was a slow walk. I understand. I get it. It's still early. I'm gonna let y'all come into grips with it. I understand. I'm gonna let you come to grips with it. But when we get to a place of being able to understand that timing is everything, then we won't want to rush the process. This is opposite of what the world is telling us. This is opposite of what most coaches are telling us, because most coaches are telling you just follow my strategy and you'll be able to do what I did in a month. Just follow my strategy and you'll be able to do what I did in 2 weeks. Just follow my strategy. But the reality is it's not just about following their strategy. There's a time and a place. There's a season for everything. And so if somebody tried to sell you a Christmas tree in the summertime, you would look at them as if they're crazy. Y'all better come on. Y'all better catch it. If somebody tried to sell you a Christmas tree in June, you would look at them like they're crazy because it's not the season for that. It's not the season for that. But we'll go and attempt to do things out of season, and then we can't understand why nobody's paying us any attention. We can't understand why we're just barely surviving. We're not thriving. We can't understand why we're holding on by a thread, but we're holding on by a thread because you try to do it in your timing and not in God's. You try to do it according to when you thought it was going to be a good idea, and then you didn't seek his wisdom. And so y'all know I'm not going to come to y'all without some scriptures, some scriptures. I don't know who's scribing for me this morning, but the first scripture is 1 Peter 3. 1 Peter 3, and it says 8 to 9, but 8 to 12 are together. I'm reading it in the Message. It's 1 Peter 3, 8 to 12. Summing up, be agreeable, be sympathetic, be loving, be compassionate, be humble. That goes for all of you, no exceptions. No retaliation, no sharp tongued sarcasm. Instead, blessed. That's your job, to bless. You'll be a blessing and also get a blessing. Now, come on now. Good morning, Deborah. Now, come on now. Whoever wants to embrace life and see the day filled up with good, here's what you do. Say nothing evil or hurtful. Snub evil and cultivate good. Run after peace for all you're worth. God looks on all this with approval, listening and responding well to what he's asked, but he turns his back on those who do evil things. There's something you're supposed to be doing in the midst of your waiting. Come on, this going. There's something I know that you know that you're pregnant with a purpose. You're pregnant with something amazing. You're pregnant with an idea. There's something you're supposed to be doing before the birth of that, before you get into battle. Because think about it like this: when you look at a warrior has to be trained for the battle that they're going to be in. You cannot put somebody who was trained in the Air Force into a submarine. y'all better y'all better catch this. You cannot put somebody who was trained to be in the submarine to be in an airplane, to be in a fighter jet. You cannot do it. Why? Because they were not prepared for it. In this moment is your preparation. What you've been through, it was your preparation. Somebody better catch that. Somebody better catch it and put it down. But what I went through was my preparation. It was my time to be humble. It was my time to what he say? Say no evil or hurtful things, snub evil, cultivate good, run after peace. It was my time to run after peace. He said we got to chase peace. So I don't always wake up with peace. I won't always have peace at my job. No, sometimes you got to chase peace. Sometimes you got to rope peace up as if it was cattle. Whoever wants to embrace life and see the day fill up with good, here's what you do. Say nothing evil or hurtful, snub evil and cultivate good. Run after peace for all your worth. God looks on all this with approval. There is an approval that needs to happen before the battle. Come on, come on, come on. There is an approval that needs to happen. But come on, Deborah said it. You got to learn to stay in your lane sometimes. I know it seems good. I know everybody would want to be able to go and be in the fighter jet. I know everybody would want to go and be able to be in a tank, but there was a preparation that they had to go through in order for them to be in the tank. There was a preparation they had to go through in order for them to be in the submarine. And so God looks on all this with approval. There was an approval that had to happen before they could get there. See, timing is everything because some of you are moving and you haven't been approved. I don't know if y'all shared this out this morning. Come on. Come on. Ooh, Nikki said it this morning. Put your piece on the business plan. Put it in the business plan. Come on. Put peace in the business plan. Put joy in the business plan. Put giving in the business. Ooh, put giving in the business plan. There is an approval that needs to occur before you are able to get to a place of being ready for battle. Somebody said that I will be approved before I am ready for battle. And see, so we see so many people that come and go. We see so many people that start and stop because they were not, they were blessed with it. They had the inkling to do it, but they were not approved before they went into battle. And therefore, the enemy saw their weaknesses and went and attacked them in their weaknesses, and they did not know how to counteract the attack. There's an approval that needs to occur. And when the approval occurs, it puts you in a headspace and in a place of being able to say, I've gone through this, and this to get to this point. Come on. Good morning, Paula. I've gone through something to get here. And so it was interesting because I was going through, and those of you that are in the World Voice League, those who are in the free community know that we were doing some purging. Those who are in the membership community, that we did a full-on purge. We did like a for real, a full-on purge. And in this purging process, some things transpired. People learned things, people understood things. And so we got to a point where people were like, wow, this is doing a whole lot more than what I thought it was going to do. And so I shared a post with them today in the membership because I said, now I need you to celebrate. Now I need you to go and put the certificates on the wall. I need your awards to come out and be displayed because you have been approved for the battle that you are in. You have been approved for the lane that you are in. You have been approved to it. Oh, somebody better catch this. I've been approved to handle what God has placed in my heart. Y'all better put that below. I've been approved to handle what God has placed in my heart. I've been approved to handle what God has placed in my hands. I've been approved to handle what God has placed in my mind. I've been approved to handle it. And so some of us, we get to a point where we don't celebrate what we've accomplished because people think if I celebrate me, I'm being boastful. No, there's a way of you celebrating yourself because it's a reminder of what God has brought you through. It's a reminder of what you did not give up in. It is a reminder of the work that you've done. And it also is an encourager. It is motivation for you to do that next thing. I want you to look at the people that's in the comments and ask them, what's your next thing? What's the battle that you're being prepared for? See, some of you don't know what the battle is because you don't even have the reminders that you've been approved. And some of you may say, well, I don't have a certificate for some of the things I did. Listen, I'm going to tell you, this is what you do. You write it down. What have you done to get to this point? Come on. Good morning. Good morning, Braylon. What have you done to get to this point? What classes have you taken? What time have you spent in worship with God? What time have you spent in talking to Him? What time have you spent on your business plan? What time have you spent taking classes and business classes and lessons? What time have you spent? I need you to have an understanding that you did some things to get to where you are. There is an approval that must happen before you can get into battle. So somebody put that below. The first one was First Peter, and we ended up doing First Peter 8-12 in the message. First Peter 3, 8-12 in the message. And so I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna take it back a bit and go to Psalms 144. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all may want to tell a few people about this one. Y'all ready? Psalms 144, verses 1-2 in the message. Blessed be God, my mountain, who trains me to fight fair and well. He's the bedrock on which I stand, the castle in which I live, my rescuing knight, the high crag where I run for dear life, while he lays my enemies low. Y'all better come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. But in that timing, you've been approved. Psalms 144, verses 1-2 in the message. Blessed be God, my mountain, who trains me to fight fair and well. Can I tell y'all something? You have the best trainer in the world. Yes, we need accountability here on earth. Yes, we need trainers and ministers here on earth, but we also have connection to the best trainer in the world. It says it in the word right there. He who trains me to fight fair and well. Some of us have been looking at the things in our lives as pain, not as a training ground. Come on. Come on. Come on. We've been looking at it as an affliction, not as training. We've been asking God, why me? And God is saying, daughter, I need you to hold on, because when you hold on, son, I need you to hold on, because when you hold on, you'll get to the point where you'll say, thank you for choosing me. We've had moments where we said, why me? Guess what? Those were our training. That's our training ground. That's our training ground. He teaches us to fight fair and well. So this is the thing. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. We don't battle against flesh and blood. We battle against principalities. We battle in the spirit. We battle against things that we don't always see. He teaches us to fight fair and well. But then not only does he teach us to fight fair and well, he also says that the battle in itself is not even ours. He already won the battle, but there's something we need to learn in order for us to better be prepared, because we're not just fighting for us. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me break it down. So he teaches us to fight fair and well, because we're not just fighting for us. There's somebody who's watching you right now who does not know what it means to be a child of God. And so he's teaching you to fight fair and well, because they're watching you to see the fight on the inside of you, to ignite the fight on the inside of them. Warrior, there's somebody who's looking at you with childlike faith, with childlike eyes, saying, God, what must I do to be saved? What must I do to be able to do what they did? And God is using you as their guide. See, he approved you because he wasn't just approving you for battle, he was approving you to be a trainer as well. Y'all better, y'all better. He was approving you not just for battle, but he was approving you to be a trainer as well. He was approving you to be a teacher. He was approving you to be a mentor. He was approving you to be a coach. He was approving you to be a speaker. Y'all better catch this. He was approving you back then. He was approving you to be an author. He was approving you to be a podcaster. He was approving you to be a live streamer. Because if you had not gone through him training you to fight well and fair, then you would fall for the enemy's traps, and you would be easily distracted and easily discouraged. Exactly. Braylon said you can't win your battle if you take yourself out of the win you deserve. Mm, you can't win the battle. That's why he tells us to go and commune together. That is why he tells us to go and I know there's this whole mindset of church being messy, but the problem comes in is we look at a church and we're looking for perfection to be there. We're looking for perfect people to be at the church, but the church isn't made of perfect people. It's made of perfectly imperfect people. And the only perfection that is on the inside of them is the fact that they accepted Christ and decided to not live in their imperfections. They decided to chase after God. That's the only difference. That's the difference between the ones in the church and the ones outside. And I know it's difficult because we see so many things happening and light is being shed on so many different things. And it breaks my heart when you hear the different things that are happening in the church, and people are walking around with church hurt and running away from the church. But it's not because we are the church. He told us that we needed to commune with each other for a reason. Because in the moment when you're ready to give up, in your time of being approved, there's somebody else who's already approved, who already oh, y'all better catch this. There's somebody else who's already been approved, who's standing at the forefront, who already has their, oh my goodness gracious, they already have their pens, and they can tell you what they went through to get to their pens. They can tell you what they went through when they were in battle. They can tell you what they went through when they were in training, and they're there for a reason, because they're there to make sure that you don't quit in your training. Are you connecting with people that will not allow you to quit in your time of being approved? Are you connecting with people that won't allow you to quit in a time where you are being approved for what God has you doing next? He is the bedrock on which I stand, the castle in which I live, my rescuing knight, the high crag where I run for dear life, while he lays my enemies low. While he lays my enemies low. He already said, he told us that we win. We still have to do the fight, but he told us that we win. So that was Psalms 144, 1-2. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm like, ugh. Okay. Ecclesiastes 3. Ecclesiastics. I don't know why I always say that, but Ecclesiastes 3. There is an opportune time to do things, a right time for everything on earth, a time for birth and another for death, a right time to plant and another to reap, a right time to kill and another to heal, a right time to destroy and another to construct, a right time to cry and another to laugh, a right time to lament and another to cheer, a right time to make love and another to abstain, a right time to embrace and another to apart. Hmm. A right time to search and another to count your losses. A right time to hold on and another time to let go. A right time to rip out and another to mend. Whew. A right time to shut up and another time to speak up. Y'all, but I hope y'all caught that. I hope you caught it. Oh, uh, okay. A right time to love and another time to hate. A right time to wage war and another time to make peace. Mm, mm. So there's an opportune time to do things, a right time for everything on earth. Why is there an opportune time? It's because, again, we talked about seasons, we talked about planting. Yes, yes, there's going to be a time where you're going to have to be, you're going to be frustrated, you're going to be angry. Yes, there's going to be a time where things don't work out in your favor, because it also breeds an appreciation for when things do work out. And so we got to think about, what are we doing in this time that we're being approved? What is our strategy in this time of us being approved? And so that brings me to three things. And so I need somebody to describe this for me. That brings me to three things. Our strategy includes preparation, tools, and keeping it simple. Kiss it. Preparation, tools, and keeping it simple. And so earlier on, we talked about how you cannot have the person that's in a submarine get into a fighter jet. They weren't prepared for that. You can't have someone who's in a fighter jet get into a submarine and try to drive a submarine. Do you drive a submarine? I think you drive a submarine. We're going to say drive. Drive a submarine. They weren't prepared for that. They may or may not learn it quickly, but they weren't prepared for that. Look at the preparation that God has you in right now. What has He done to prepare you? And for some of you, you're like, no, He hasn't done anything. Oh no, I hate this job I'm on. He doesn't do this. He doesn't. No, He has prepared you for such a time as this. Why? Because guess what? When you were on the other side of the mountain, that was your preparation. When you were going through issues with customer service at your job, that was your preparation for where God is taking you. When you were dealing with stuff with your children, that was the preparation for where God is taking you. When you were having those conversations and couldn't understand why people kept coming to you and talking to you about everything they were going through, guess what? That was preparation for where God has you or where He is taking you. And so I give you this example. I would be on my job, and people that did not know who I was, people that I did not know who they were, would come up to me and tell me their whole life story. They would tell me about their children being on drugs and them having to take care of their grandchildren. They would come in telling me about them being witness to them seeing their best friend be abused by their boyfriend. They would come and tell me all of these things. And these were people that did not know who I was, and I never saw them again. I don't know about y'all, but I caught that myself. He was preparing me to help warriors. He was preparing me to work with women who had gone through abuse, who had witnessed abuse. He was preparing me to hear their stories, have empathy and compassion, give them what they needed, the tools. Y'all better catch this. Give them the tools that they needed so that way they could do what He asked them to do in the simplest way. So that way they did not carry more with them than they needed. So they weren't carrying emotional baggage. So they weren't carrying mental baggage. So they weren't carrying physical baggage. It's so interesting because what just snapped in my head, was that I now have people doing a purge. Remember? I have people doing a purge. I even wrote a book on it. I have people doing a purge so that way they can clear out the things they need to do. So that way they have the right tools, so that way they can go into the next level and do what they need to do. The accountability community is an opportunity, it is preparation, and the purge and the tools they need. I'm not expecting people to be there forever and always. Mm, come on. Good morning, Verlin. I'm not expecting people to be there for always. See, this is how you know when somebody is walking in purpose or they're just walking in and they got baby fever. Are you walking in are you walking and impregnated with what you're supposed to be impregnated? Are you just walking around with baby fever and you see other people doing stuff and you're like, I want to do what they're doing without having the process of going through and being approved? So when people were talking to me about their children being on drugs, I was being approved for where I am right now. I told y'all when we talked in the last video, When I went through the rejection, I was being approved for where I am now because the women that I deal with and I connect with have gone through rejection in so many different ways and arenas. I was being approved. It hurt. How many of y'all know that the training ain't always easy? Come on. How many of you understand that the training is not always easy? The training is rigorous. How many of you know that the training is going to take you through some things? How many of you understand that when we going through boot camp, come on, when we going through boot camp, it's not pretty. Boot camp is not pretty. It's not meant to be. It's meant to change your mind. It's meant to change your body and push your body to its limits. It's funny because we ask God, oh, God, Jesus. We ask God to expand our territories. Those of you who are in the World Voice League, you know, our prayer um, right now is the prayer of Jabez. We've been asking him to expand our territory and all that comes with that, right? But the thing about it is that some of you may be like, well, why did things get a little harder when I started praying this prayer of Jabez? Why did things get a little more difficult? It's because God had to show you where your current boundaries were. He had to show you where you were stopping yourself. He had to show you where you had other people stopping you. He had to show you where your words were stopping you. That was your boundary. And then he had to push you so that way you could get past it. See, when we say expand our territory, increase our boundaries, you got to know where your boundaries are. Your time of approval is your boot camp. It don't feel good, it don't look good, your clothes is dirty, you in the mud. Ha! Y'all better somebody, oh, I don't know if y'all caught that. I'm gonna repeat it. I don't know if you caught it. Somebody better you better share this out. Y'all better tell a person because somebody is dealing with it right now. Your name was put in mud because that was your proving ground. That was your approval. That was your moment of going through something because your boundaries were going to be pushed. And so you had to go through that in order for you to be able to go and help the people that are coming after you, the people that you're going to be working with, the people that you're going to be speaking in front of. In order for you to be able to help them, you had to go through that period of your name being in mud. When you look at boot camp for the Army and the Navy and the Marine, they are in, there's times where it is raining and they are in the mud. They do not stop because it is raining. Sometimes you are going to have to fight through the rain. And if you can fight through the rain in boot camp, then in battle you can fight through the rain. Y'all better catch. I don't know if y'all with me this morning. I don't know. Maybe y'all not awoke. Maybe you're not fully awoken this morning, but I need you to have an understanding is that boot camp was preparing you for where you're going. As a speaker, if you did not go through a boot camp when it comes to speaking, then I don't even know if I really want to hear you on stage. If you ain't been through nothing, I'ma just can we just be honest? If you a coach and you ain't really been through nothing, I don't really want to. And I had to learn that the hard way because some of us is following people and we following them for where they are, but we don't even relate to where they were. See, when I can relate to where you were, then I can follow your strategy better. But when I can't relate to where you were, then all I'm doing is following you as entertainment. And so we got a lot of people in the world that are following people because of entertainment. They're following them because of a name. They following them because they want to be able to rub shoulders and be able to say, oh, I know such and such. They following them and connected to them and attracting to them because of that thing. But that's what? Is there a part of their journey that really resonates with you? Because if it's not, how are you supposed to learn? How are you supposed to be trained? That's like having somebody running the boot camp that hasn't gone through the boot camp themselves. What? Why? You ain't been to war. You haven't been in battle. You haven't been out in the field. But you gonna come and tell me that this boot camp is what I need. How? How? Right, Sonia? How? How are you going to tell me that? No, I need to see what it is that you've done. And even if I can't see exactly what it is that you've done, I need to know that you've been where it is. This is the thing. You've been where I am or where I was, and you've been where or you are where I'm trying to be. See, we following the people that are at the place where we want to go, and that's great. That's fine. But there's a reason why you did not finish the boot camp. There's a reason why you quit in the midst of your approval. It's because you had baby fever. You weren't even working and you weren't even carrying. You had baby fever because you saw what they were doing, and so you got excited about it and you went in there, and then it wasn't even your time to be impregnated with a purpose. It wasn't your time to be impregnated with something, and so you miscarried. Oh, and so you miscarried because at that time it wasn't the right time. Mm. Phew. And so we miscarry because the timing was not right. It wasn't the best environment. It wasn't the best time. It wasn't the best just I mean, even when we think about it, even in that moment, sometimes that moment is what jolts us into being able to really go after what we want to go after. And so there's a business that we had in our belly that failed. There's a marriage that we had that ended in divorce. There's a course that we put out that flopped. We did something and we did not see it through. It did not go all the way to full term. Mm. And oof, I don't know who this is for. Whew. I don't know who this is for. I need you to stop blaming you. Stop blaming you for what didn't happen. Stop blaming yourself because it fell through. Stop blaming yourself because in blaming yourself, you're you're holding up your next. And in blaming yourself, you've been extending the time that you're in boot camp. I need you to forgive yourself for whatever it was. I need you to forgive yourself. God needs you to forgive yourself. I need you to forgive yourself so I can move forward. Whatever it is that I'm supposed to be finishing up. But you need to forgive yourself because it's holding up something for you. And it's not only just holding up something for you, it's almost like it's holding something hostage. And forgiveness is what's going to give you what you need to go after what's being held hostage. Forgiveness is going to give you the tools to go after your next. And so there's something else coming, but you have to forgive yourself. Mm. So I don't know what that was. I don't know. And whatever it is, like I feel that it hurts you to the core. Whatever it was, it hurt you to the point where you did not talk to anybody about it. It hurt you to the core where you've been in depression because of it. Good morning, Maria. It hurt you to like whatever it was, it hurt you. It hurt you bad. Like to the and nobody knows how much it hurt you because you still were showing up with a smile. You still show up every day. You still show up and serve. You still I don't know who this is for. I don't know who this is. But you still show up and serve. You still show up and smile. And so Maria said, "What did I miss?" Somebody, so we were talking about because today is all about timing being everything, and we like it just dropped talking about miscarriages and things that did not go to full term for us in our lives. It was a business, a marriage, or something, but it just dropped that literally there is somebody that's what they're going through right now. They have not moved forward because of that thing, and they've moved forward physically, but there's something being held up because they have not forgiven themselves, and they blame themselves. And so they're the extension, the connections, the community, the support, things that they need. Mm, and it was rough. And you had to show up with a smile because you didn't want to, oh, you didn't want to discourage or cause pain for anybody else. So you showed up as if you were not in pain. Mm. And so, yeah, I see you on Periscope. I see you, warrior grandma. And so now is your time to forgive you. And you've been that rock, but there's a blessing for you. You got to forgive you. You got to forgive you. That's okay. So, do you journal? If you don't journal, I want you to go get a new journal. Matter of fact, either way, I want you to go get a new journal. And I want you to um and so those of you who are on Periscope and Facebook, I want you to just go up in prayer right now. I'll put up her handle on Periscope. I won't put up what she put, but I will put up her handle. And so um just pray. But I want you to go get a journal. A note, it can just be a regular notebook. Um, I just want you to write every morning. Just want you to write. That's going to be part of it. And while you're writing, just sit and let worship music play. Sometimes it's, it may not be mornings for you. It may be evenings. Um, no matter when that time is for you, I need you to um it's a process. It's not always going to be easy, but it is a process. Um, and then I want you to connect. Let's get you connected to somebody. Um, to see if we can connect you with somebody who's possibly nearby or close to you. Um, but I want you to write. Just write. And don't give yourself a deadline. Don't give yourself a theme. Don't give yourself anything. I just want you to write. Because when you write, you're not only going to be writing about what it is you're feeling, but you're also going to be writing why it is that you're hurt, what was done to you, and it's going to be interesting because you're going to have some moments where you'll just break down in tears as you're writing. That's okay, but I need you to do that. And so those of you who are on Periscope and on Facebook, please make sure that you're sending out prayers. That's her handle. And you may not know exactly what it is she's going through, and that's okay. We don't need to know the exact need for us to know when and how to pray for people. There's a reason why you're on here this morning. And even greater things are going to come from this. Whew. That's why it's so important for us to be in position, because we do not know who it is that we are meant to talk to. We do not know who it is that we're meant to empower. We do not know who it is we're meant to just be there for sometimes. You may never meet that person in person. That person may read your book. That person may find you, online. That person may uh, they may see you speak. There's so many different ways for us people to connect with us now. It's going through the battleground, and I can tell you that because warrior grandma, that's what I went through. It was that feeling of failure, that feeling of I didn't really talk about it because I didn't want to hurt anybody else. I didn't want to hurt my children. I wanted everybody else to be okay. And in the long run, I wasn't okay. So I went through that boot camp for you to be able to sit here and let you know that it's okay. The boot camp, a lot of times we think that the boot camp was meant to take us out. That's how it feels. I'm gonna just be honest. We feel like the boot camp was meant to take us out, y'all. Whatever it was, whatever it was, we feel like it was meant to take us out. We feel like the failed business, the divorce, the whatever diagnosis our doctor said, we feel like sometimes it was meant to completely take us out. Mm-mm. When we hold true to the promises of God, we are literally saying, God, I trust you because you said all things work out for my good. So whatever this is, it's going to work out for my good. Preparation. Y'all just got to see it live. Tools. Mm, and keeping it simple. Somebody else would have said, oh, you got to do this. You got to run around in circles 19 and a half times and say a hallelujah. No, sometimes that's not it. Sometimes you just got to keep it simple. Sometimes it's just go ahead and write. Just start writing. Sometimes it's and I've seen this done. Sometimes it's writing a letter. And they don't always deliver the letter sometimes, but it's writing the letter. Not everybody not everybody everybody has a great way of communicating with each other, but everybody doesn't communicate the same way. And so it may be I need to write somebody a letter to tell them how I truly feel as opposed to sitting down and talking to them. Mm. And that happens often. And sometimes it's because of that. It's a block there. Maria says she started a book and can't seem to finish it. It's like a block. You start writing something and there's a block. And I found for me personally, I've found that a lot of times it's like, man, something that happened, and then I'll go, oh, I see why I couldn't finish it. Is because this needed to be in this book. I just recently went through that. I have a book, and this book is I'm like I have a whole. This book is like a foundational book. So there's so many things coming from this one book, and even yeah, it's just I'm sitting there going, oh, okay, I got all the chapters, I got all the ideas, and when I went to sit down, I just couldn't do it. Hmm. I just couldn't do it. I was stuck. Hmm. She said there were several blocks. And the thing about it is though, is that you've gone through something previously that allowed you to be able to identify them. The first time it happens, you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on, but you've been through it. There's some things that kind of, seem familiar to you. You're like, okay, I see that. Okay, I see this. And it allows you to identify them. It's the same things when we go through and we're in battle. Now we're able to identify things in battle because we've been through some stuff. Now we're better prepared. And that's what this warrior series is all about, guys. It's so we're better prepared. And that's it right there. That's it. And it's because everybody's healing process and healing time. Remember, we were talking about this brings it full circle, you guys. Timing is everything. And sometimes people think you're supposed to be healed from something, but if I'm going and I'm not fully talking about it, or I haven't forgiven myself, that healing doesn't take place. It can't. It can't. How can healing take place if when I look in the mirror, I see me. I'm angry at me, frustrated with me. I'm disappointed in me. So we always got to look at it and say, people go, oh, no, it's timing. It's no, no, no. Well, you should be doing this by now. No, 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 no. That's when you got to get bold and say, no, because you're not in my shoes. I always, so my grandmother passed away when I was in middle school. And my grandmother, she was my everything, y'all. Like she was the one that influenced me to start writing. Me and her we were tight. Like, I mean, tight, tight. Like we would sneak out. She was not able to walk. And so I would help her get dressed, help her get into the wheelchair. And we would sneak out and in the summertime and go maybe about 4 or 5 blocks to go get water ice or go across the street to the park. And yes, I said sneak out because I wasn't supposed to be taking her nowhere. And I would go and get her like snacks and stuff she wasn't supposed to be having. And when my mother would see it, my grandmother would just say, "Oh, that's for me." She would say, "It's for Alcides." And I would say, "Yeah, mama, I always got snacks at grandma's." And she's like, "I don't think that's really your snacks." Right? I don't really think that's your snacks. But I say that because it took me when she passed away, it took a while for me to heal from that because I did not talk to anybody about it. I did not, because people, I was angry. I had saw her that morning. because we were in the same apartment complex. My mom and I were on the fourth floor. My grandmother was on the third floor. So before I would leave for school, I would run down. I had a key, so I would run down. I would go in. I would say bye, tell her I love her, and then I would go. I was angry because I was like in the moment for a long time. I couldn't remember if I said I love you that morning. And like nobody, like this is something I've never told anybody. So like for the longest time, I fought myself. And this is I'm in middle school, guys, middle school. For the longest time, I could not remember because of the literally just how traumatic it was. It was like she was there that morning and she just passed away. Like literally, she was talking on the phone to one of my aunts and she just laid her head back. And that was it. And because it was so traumatic and we weren't ready for it, man, that hurt me for years. It wasn't until high school that I had to go through something, and I was at the time going to a Bible study, and I had to learn to forgive myself because I had that block. I was so mad at myself for having that block. Why can't you remember if you said I love you? It's simple. What's the problem? Why can't you remember that? But the trauma of that morning I saw her, by the time, and mind you, my school was right next door. Philly, shout out to Philly. I was at Wagner Middle School on Shelton Ave, and we were in the apartment complexes right next door, right across the street. And the apartment was next door. So I went to school. By the time I got into study hall, I literally, the principal is calling me to the office, and I'm like, now I'm not a bad student, so I'm like, whoa, what you need me for? Wait a minute, now. Y'all know I got a wild imagination. Y'all know I got a wild imagination. I'm getting a call to the office and being told to go home. Why? What did I do? In my mind, what did I do? As I'm going down the steps, I see and hear the ambulance driving off, but I did not know that my grandmother was in the ambulance. And so the trauma that I went through made that morning completely disappear out my mind. And it hurt me so bad. And like literally, but because we as people don't realize the significance of forgiveness, we don't realize the significance of going through like all the trauma we go through. Good morning. We don't understand what that really does to us. We think we just go with it and we carry it. And a lot of times we've been carrying things that have been really traumatic for us in our childhood, in our adult years. We're carrying stuff that's traumatic. So that self forgiveness allows us to move forward to something even greater. But woo, I carried that from middle school to high school. So imagine I had to finish out middle school in the same apartment complex, walking by her floor, because I always took the stairs, walking by her floor every day, being across the street every day. That's why I tell people now, when you look at our children, you're like, oh, you too young to have headaches. You too young to go through something. No, they're not. They go through a lot, and we need to acknowledge that. Because if not, we're setting them up for failure later in life. They go through a lot, and some a lot more than what they actually talk about. But that was the first time I ever had to deal with forgiving myself, because I could not for the life of me remember if I had said I love you that morning. And I was so angry to the point where even at her funeral, I was angry. Oh, I was so angry because everything made me mad about the funeral. Yeah. Everything made me mad about the funeral. My grandmother, full on Indian, hair way down, beautiful black and silver hair down her back. At the time, I did not know that when the person that does their makeup and hair and all of that, they do it from whatever picture you give them. And so they had given them an older picture of my grandmother. And so she had all this makeup on her face and her hair was in some freaking like these pin curl things. Oh, I was so angry, y'all. I was so mad. I was so angry. Remember, I'm in middle school. Why y'all got my grandmother looking like this in this casket? Or had such an attitude. People were like, I was crying because how angry I was. People were like, we know she's in a better place. And I'm just giving people the look like, you don't stop touching me. Don't touch me. Don't talk to me. Please leave me alone. But I didn't realize that it went back to, I really could not remember if I had said I love you that morning. And it was so deep. And this is why people go to therapy. This is why people go to counseling. And we never understand it because when I was in middle schoolers weren't going to counselors, at least not that I knew. And if they did, we didn't talk about it. That wasn't, I don't know if they went to, and my mother was a foster mother as well. So I knew foster children that had to go to counseling, but I didn't know anybody else that was going into counseling. That Why they going to, what happened? I don't, we didn't hear about any of those things. So yeah. So yes, it takes time and people will think that you're supposed to be over it. You're supposed to just walk on with life. It doesn't work that way. If we were robots, that would work. We're not robots. We're humans. We have emotions and feelings. We have a mind and a heart. We have compassion and empathy and sympathy. So we got to make sure that we're taking that time to heal. Got to make sure we're taking that time to heal as a warrior, because there is a warrior on the inside of you. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care who you are. There's a warrior on the inside of you. As a warrior, you got to have that place of healing. Think about a warrior think about a war, think about somebody going into battle and they're not healed. You're not walking upright because you got a pain in your side, something going on with your leg, something going on. You got a pinky toe is messed up. You're not walking, you're walking funny because you're not walking at full. Well, listen, we got to go through a healing process so that way we're ready for war. And nobody knows what everybody's healing time frame is going to be. You don't know what somebody else's process is going to be. But I can tell you something, we can be healed. Because it wasn't until high school that I remembered that I had said I love you that morning. And I was literally listening to worship music and I was listening to this one song and it was just playing over and over and over again. And the tears are just falling. And that was, I mean, I'm just like, God, why would you take her? That was my rock, that was my everything, and I'm just like going in. And that was that moment where it broke for me. So that's why I say that time that you're spending by yourself, allowing your worship music to play, sitting down and writing, that's going to be that process for you. It helps. It most definitely does. So I just had to come to y'all. We done went way past our normal time. Look at how much time we done been on here, y'all. Jesus. We done went way past our normal time. Y'all know we normally on here maybe about 45 minutes. But we could not move forward without discussing that and breaking through that. We could not move forward because we got greater things coming and we're extending our territories, and that means we need to be prepared. And in preparation, we need to make sure we have the right tools and that we're keeping it simple. Timing is everything. What are you doing with the time that you have? With that being said, I appreciate you guys. Have an amazing Friday. It's Friday, y'all. It's Friday. Oh, it's Friday. Oh, it's Friday. Have an amazing weekend. World Voice League community, I will see you in the morning. And there is a bonus. So those of you that follow me, and we're doing the Warrior series, I have someone who is going to be coming on my channel tomorrow on Saturday. Every Saturday this month, he is coming on and he is sharing a message when it comes to this Warrior series. When I tell you, I got everybody like reading stuff and studying stuff. And so he's going to be coming on tomorrow. I think he said at 12 noon. 12 noon. So check out the channel around that time or check out the replay. You'll definitely want to make sure that you're listening in, because it's gonna do some things. It's gonna shift some things and do some things, and that's what it's all about, right? I appreciate you guys, you too. I'm super excited. So make sure that you have your notebooks, make sure that you have your pens ready for tomorrow. And until next time, don't forget to press it out. See you guys.